Hey everyone, this is Armored, and today I'm gonna do a quick video on the hero tier list and the best possible hero pairs and combinations. And just before I begin, which I will do shortly, I want to add this thing that this is just my thoughts, and for a detailed breakdown, I will be making a separate video for each genre of heroes, that is Infantry, Rider, and Rage. That will be a detailed breakdown and their respective strength based on siege, rally, and garrison, whatever you want to call it, later on. So we are just going to quickly start off with the garbage tier. And then I will subsequently, after adding heroes to garbage tier, I will move like infantry, rider, and range, like in a specific systematic order. We will start with the garbage tier. We have Mr. Hank, Mr. Kralin. Then we got Nakanomaya in the garbage tier. We got Johnny Carey in the garbage tier. And if we go for the rider heroes, we got Jonathan. He is also a garbage tier hero. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 heroes, I think, which are garbage tier. And probably you can include Mr. Jaden here as well, because he's quite weak, in fact. So this is for the garbage tier. And after that, let's start off with the infantry heroes and their rankings. First of all, we have Mr. Raigoro. So Mr. Raigoro quite does not fall into a must-have, but he does heavily fall into the situational category. The reason behind that is Raigoro and Riven are one of the strongest garrison heroes in the game. So let's say if you do not have Stella available or Riven is not available, then it is a big problem for you if you're an infantry based player. So to maximize your garrison and just to specifically use this hero, Mr. Raigoro, for garrison, you need together with this sumo wrestler so that you are able to maximize your shield output and have an effective garrison pair in the field. Not in the field, like you have an effective garrison. So this is why he is a very situational based hero that is only viable for garrison along with Riven. So you can also put him into highly situational, but once you pair it up with Riven, then he definitely becomes an S tier pair. So this is the reason that I'm placing him here. And of course you can use him in the field as well. Next is Mr. Tom. He does not find himself to be soon he will fall into this D category and probably a garbage tier soon after that if new infantry heroes are released. So this C is probably the right place that he has to be placed. Other than healing, he does not offer much into the battlefield. Probably his first skill and in the damage reduction that he gives, that can be considered. Apart from that, I do not think that he is viable in the game. So yeah, next thing is that we got Miss Adut. Miss Adut is again a highly situational based hero. So the reasons that make her situational is that she's quite a fast moving hero, or probably one of the fastest moving infantry heroes. Then her skill damage, like awaken skill, makes you reduce the skill damage. So this is 100% trigger cast rate for this skill. This makes her extremely strong apart from the 40% and the 44% score, increase in your infantry squad attack that you receive, which makes it about 88%. So this makes her situational because she can only be used in the field. She is not good for garrison and she is also not good for siege. So this makes her a very situational hero. So a lot of people use Miyamoto and Adut, but I do not agree with that pair. So the next hero you want to have is that Mr. Thunder. Mr. Thunder, once upon a time, used to be the strongest infantry hero in the game. He used to be a must-have, and a hero that you should always awaken, but that time passed more than an year ago. He's no longer that much viable in the game. Again, he's a very situational based hero. Like for example, if you do not have Raigoro and Riven, one of them is not awakened, then you can use Mr. Thunder with probably someone like Riven. That is it. I do not think there is any other hero that is going to be a great pair with him, but I personally use him with Adut in the field as I do not have many other strong infantry heroes available with me. So the best contribution that Thunder right now makes in the game is filling up your hospital. Apart from that, I do not believe Thunder is useful at all. Next hero is Mr. Robert. Mr. Robert is a terribly weak hero. The only reason that I'm placing him in category D is because he debuffs through his first skill, which is or which can be useful for your beast invasion, and that is probably it. Let me show you guys. Other than that, this hero is like to understand Robert. So for Robert, you need to understand why he's not that great. His awaken skill is actually quite weak. It increases your damage that you're doing through your fourth skill only when you have affected or use your skill and affected them with target HP reduction, right? So this is one of the reasons that I think that he is actually weak. He could have been quite useful if the situation had arisen, but that situation never came. That is why he finds himself in category D. Next up, we have Eddie. Like Eddie right now finds himself to be not a must-have, but definitely a situation-based hero because he is good at field battles and then he's also good at siege rallies. So you can actually pair him up with Stella. If you do not have Mr. Eddie, then you can of course pair Stella with Bodala for various reasons in the battlefield. So yeah, that is why I think it is not a must-have and it is not a very highly situational hero. He can be used for field and he can definitely be used for siege battles as well. So personally, I use Miyamoto along with Eddie. So that is one of the pairs that I use. Next up, we have Mr. Miyamoto. Mr. Miyamoto is one of the heroes. Like there are two infantry heroes which have area of effect skill damage. So one of them is Miyamoto and the secondary is Bodala. But Bodala skill is based on certain chance. Like you can say it is like if its shield breaks, then he will do true damage. So that is what makes Bodala strong. And then the third hero is Charlie. But of course, since he is elite hero, he fizzles out once you progress into the game. So Miyamoto is someone that you must have and yet you must awaken. And especially if you can purchase his skin, this makes him even more stronger and faster. So he's also one of those infantry heroes that moves really fast in the battlefield, and this makes him quite viable, especially about the buffs that he gives and the debuffs that he dishes out to the enemy squads as well. So I personally like Miyamoto a lot, and I believe that is one of the infantry heroes that you should not only acquire, but you should awaken it as well. So the next hero I want to cover is Miss Riven. So Miss Riven is one of the heroes that you must have. And once you have awakened all the other stronger infantry heroes, then you should actually awaken her after your other stronger heroes are upgraded. Why Riven is so strong, let me show you the reason behind that. So if you go for the Riven's fourth skill, I personally do not have her awakened. But if I had the opportunity, I will definitely awaken her. So this shield bonus, this fourth skill makes her infinitely strong. The shield bonus is increased by 30%. Look at that shit. So she personally grants you a shield. Let me check. Yeah. So yeah, 1700 factor shield here. So why the reason I say that Raigoro and she are great together is because of the 9600 damage factor shield she increases by a further 30%. So this is quite insane actually. So this makes Raigoro and Riven garrison infinitely strong. Then we of course know that Stella is also used with the Riven in the garrison. So these are my logics behind placing her in the category A. Next up we have Marco. Marco is one of the heroes that is definitely an S tier hero because Marco can be paired with a number of heroes. His skills, the buffs that he gives you, and the debuffs that he pours onto the enemy in the field are insanely strong. The only reason I believe that Marco should be in must have is the reason that you need 2 universal shards to have 1 Marco shard. So this makes him quite difficult to obtain actually. So for example, if you have 685 shards to awaken a hero, then you need 1370 shards to awaken Marco in case you have not awakened him during the event. So despite the fact that he's very strong, he is one of the heroes that you need to be very careful when acquiring and upgrading, because to awaken 1 Marco, you will be able to upgrade 2 legendary heroes. So even a hero requiring to be transcended requires less amount of universal shards as compared to Mr. Marco. But definitely Marco is an extremely strong hero. He can be paired with Jack Bronte in the field, who is a range-based hero. He can be paired with Elena. I've seen a lot of rider heroes actually pairing him up with it, and then we can also pair him up with Bianca right here. So yeah, Marco is definitely a strong hero thanks to his buffs and debuffs. But be careful when you are upgrading him and acquiring him. So we got Stella. Stella is definitely the only S plus transcended hero. I believe if you're an infantry based player, you not only should acquire Stella, but you should definitely transcend her as well. This is my thoughts on this hero. She is extremely strong. Not only she is tanky, but she can also be used in almost all the roles that are possible in the game. She can be used in field, she can be used in garrison, and she can be used for siege, of course, which is her primary role. So this makes Stella infinitely stronger than the last one. We have Bodala. Bodala is definitely a must-have, and this is one of the infantry heroes, if you're an infantry-based player, that you should look to awaken. So the hero pair that works with Bodala is of course Stella, and then if you do not have Stella awakened and you already had a Miyamoto awakened, then Miyamoto and Bodala work great together. Makes them a lot tanky with extremely high squad attack damage, and both move quite fast together in the field as well. So this is an insanely strong pair when paired together. So yeah, this is my thoughts that Bodala not only should be acquired, but it should also be awakened. Once of course you have Stella and Miyamoto awakened, the next hero you want to go for is Mr. Bodala. So here we are done with the infantry heroes. So now we're gonna hop over to the rider heroes. We are gonna start with Cynthia. Cynthia, if you are having Cynthia without the skin, so she falls into the highly situational category where you can use her to raid farms, like snipe different squads who are carrying the cement in Archipelago raid. Like such are the tasks that she can be used for. Other than that, I do not believe that she is viable. But if you have a Cynthia who is having the skin, so this makes her at least a situational based hero or probably a must have. But since we are talking about a normal Cynthia without the skin, so I'm going to place her at least in the situational based category because you can awaken her easily through the police station. Next hero is Catherine. If you have the money, you should awaken her. If you do not, then she obviously finds herself in either the garbage tier or the D category. But definitely for the rider lower players, she's definitely a strong hero. And if she has the skin, again, if both the sisters have skin, then they fall into the must-have category or even the situational based category, just for the fact that once you have the skins awakened and you pair them together, they become really, really strong actually. The next hero that we have, Bella. Bella used to be at one point in time, she used to be a must-have, but she has fallen off a cliff after the introduction of stronger rider heroes. So she has become highly, highly situational based hero. Like if you have some hero like Elena, for example, then yeah, maybe she can find herself in the battlefield. But other than that, I do not understand what could be her use, as she cannot be used for shield like siege and neither for garrison. So the only thing that she is viable is for field. So this makes her an extremely situational based hero. Like she can also be placed in highly situational with the introduction of Rubina and definitely Mr. Daryl. So the next hero you got is Mr. Sven. I fail to understand where he could land up. He is no longer that much viable in the game and definitely falls into the category C or D, but for now I will place him in D because we have very strong rider heroes already into the game. The next hero we are gonna discuss is Miss Elena. So Elena again her finds herself to be a rider hero that you want to have, sort of a must have. The reason behind Elena is this skill. So this increase in basic attack damage by 30%. And a further basic attack damage increase of 16%, like 30 and then 53% if you have it maxed out. So in 83% increase, and then you got the rider squad attack and the travel speed by 20%. And then you are of course increasing the defense. So these skills make Elena a must-have. Why? I will explain, because once you go to where is Felix, so Felix is another hero that works on basic attack damage increase, right? So basic attacks have a chance to increase your damage dealt, right? And then he also increased the rider squad attack. And if you transcend him, like sorry, awaken him, then you're also increasing your basic attack by doing a basic attack every additional 10 seconds, right? One attack after every 10 seconds. And this attack also gives you 70 rate. So considering this, and where is Miss Chasey? I do not have Chasey, which I consider to be one of the strongest heroes in the game, who increases your basic attack damage by 290%, which goes further up once you transcend her. So again, increase in basic attack damage, rider squad attack increase, and then increase in basic attack damage. So this makes Elena a must-have because you can easily pair her up with one of Chasey or Felix. And if you do not want to pair him up with one of these, you can pair up Elena with like my Shiranui. You can play. You can pair her up with Mr. Marco. You can pair her up with Bianca. So you have a lot of options for Elena. Even you can pair her up with Bella and then my Shiranui. So these are the options that you currently have. And we go for my Shiranui next. So my Shiranui is again a highly situational based hero. She used to be the only rider hero with an area of effect damage, and of course not only does she move fast, which makes her extremely viable in the battlefield, but her rider squad attack increase makes her a very good pair with several different rider heroes. It could be Elena, it could be Felix, it can be Daryl now as well. So yeah, a lot of options for my Shiranui. Next hero is Chasey. Chasey is definitely the probably strongest hero in the game. Not only this hero is exceptional in the field battle, she's great in the garrison as well, and she's also very good in siege as well. Like in all three roles, she is extremely exceptional. Like there is no parallel to her, whether it is the infantry hero or whether it is ranged hero. So this is how strong she actually is. The only weakness I believe that I find in her is once she is in garrison, she is unable to take multiple rallies. But of course, if you are up against like 7 million or 6 million plus squads in the in who are sieging onto you, so you will find trouble sieging against, right? If they have well coordinated rallies. So this is my only logic behind the only weakness that I actually find in Chasey. Then you got Mr. Felix. Felix is a hero you should awaken, and of course you should be having him. So he has a lot of pairs. You can pair him up with Chasey, the probably strongest rider hero player pair in the game. And then you got Elena, then you got my Shiranui for her, and now you can even pair him up with the new heroes. So Rubina and Daryl. So Daryl finds himself to be a must-have hero. And right now, I think just because he has an area of effect damage, which I believe the rider heroes are lacking, so I find myself to be a believer that this is a hero that you must awaken. As for Rubina, I think she will fall probably into the Transcended category or the S plus tier or somewhere in between S and S plus tier. The reason I say that is because I have no battle reports actually to back it up. So I want to have some more data before I decide that Rubina is an S plus tier or an S tier. But I can assure you, she has been introduced against the Ethan garrisons, and we will definitely see a lot of Rubina action in current Archipelago Raid. So this is why I'm just for the moment placing her in S plus Transcended category, as she will be extensively used in the field battles as well as for siege in place of Chasey and Felix. But of course, we need more data to determine this, but I am taking a leap of faith and I am a firm believer that she is going to do extremely great in the upcoming Archipelago raid, and it will verify my claims that she's going to be an insane hero for the foreseeable future. So we are done with the rider heroes for now. Let's go for the ranged heroes. So for the ranged heroes, I want to quickly remove Mr. Jacob. Either he's garbage tier or he's highly situational. So the highly situational is ruled out because you got Mr. Lewis and Ethan for garrison, and even you can use Sophie. So once you check mark these things that he is good at, which is only the garrison, so he finds himself in this category, that is the D category. Like he's not garbage tier, and he is not highly situational based hero either. And he is strong enough to not be classified with these garbage tier heroes, right? So the next hero is Mr. Lewis. Lewis is one of the oldest heroes in the game, and I believe he is a must-have, and you should be able to not only easily acquire him in, like, what I want to say, yeah, police station. So you will be able to acquire him from the police station, but you will also be able to awaken him. The quicker you awaken him, the better it will be for you. And if you acquire his skin, then he becomes really great. But definitely, he finds him to be quite a situational hero. Like if you do not have other sniper heroes, then Mr. Lewis. But yeah, since Ethan and Lewis Garrison is being used extensively for that purpose alone, I believe I will place him in category A. John, I find her to be a situational hero. Like there are many strong sniper heroes. Like I would even place her into a highly situational category just for the reason she requires 1200 rage to generate her skill, which is the highest amongst all the sniper heroes, not just the sniper heroes, but in the game as well. So next thing is Julia. Julia is one of the heroes which you should have, but with the introduction of other stronger sniper heroes. I do not know what her future role is going to be. She used to be quite effective while sieging and while she was deployed in the field battles, but I think she has fallen way behind the latest infantry heroes. The ranged hero next I'm going to cover is Lin. So Lin is the fast moving sniper hero. Again, she is quite situation based. The reason is that you cannot use her for garrison and you can also not use her for siege. So the best pair I find Lin to have is Miss Sophie because both these heroes when paired together become not only quite tanky but they are able to move quite fast in the battlefield as well. So this is the reason I'm placing Lane in category B, which is situational, because she's much stronger than all the heroes that are listed below, and she does or she can be used like quite effectively. Bard is a hero that our rider heroes, like sorry, sniper heroes must have, but and if you have shards to spare, he should be awakened. His transcended skill makes Bard an extremely great hero to have in the field battle, and once you have that, then you can of course pair Bard with Julia. The reason I say that Bard and Julia work together is because if we check out Miss Julia, where is Julia? So Julia's first skill actually silences the enemy, and then you got range squad attack and defense increase, and then you're increasing the skill damage that you're doing, right? So we stop at, and yeah, of course, increasing the range squad HP as well. So we stop here, then we go to Bard. So the Bard is able to, here's the max button, I cannot find it. So yeah, the Bard is able to increase range squad attack, which is great. And then his second skill works great with the hero, like squads that are silenced. So this is an exceptional skill to have. And then of course he increases the HP and then you're dealing increased skill damage. So these are some of the skills that you need on Mr. Bard. So this is why Bard is really great with Miss Julia. We come over to Mr. Ethan. Ethan is the only sniper hero that I would place in the S plus or the transcended category. Ethan is an exceptional hero just for the fact he increases the skill damage of AoE effect based skills, right? So if you check all the sniper heroes, most of them have an area of skill damage less if you consider Miss Lane and then Jack Bronte. So most of these heroes have area of effect skill damage. You got Lewis with the area skill, you got Bard with area skill, and probably Julia, sorry, yeah, Julia does not have area skill as well. So even Sophie has area of effect skill damage, right? Can you believe this shit? So the next thing I want to cover is, or the next hero is Sophie. Sophie is definitely a must-have hero, and you should always look to awaken her. Why I say that is because Sophie, where is Miss Sophie? Yeah. So Sophie's first skill, it synergizes well with Mr. Ethan. Like her, she increases the skill damage that you're doing to the nearby enemies. And then she's taking 900 rage. Now pair this up with, for example, let's say Ethan, who is once transcended, he increases the damage of AoE skills by 18%, which is like insane. So now we reconsider it, like 20% increase and 18% increase on top of the skill damage that you are already increasing. So this is a 38% increase in the skill damage, which is actually quite insane. Yeah. So this is the reason that I place Sophie here, and on top of that, she also moves fast in the battlefield, and she can be paired up with a number of heroes. For example, Mr. Ethan, you got Sophie, you can even pair her up with Julia and Louis. So a lot of options actually are present for Sophie. Lastly, you got Mr. Jack Bronte. Jack Bronte is definitely a hero that you should have awakened when the time for him to be awakened was there. But since you have missed it, he finds himself to be in the same place, same location that Mr. Marco finds himself in. You need the 2 universal shards for 1 Jack Bronte shards. So in order to awaken Jack Bronte, you need 1370 universal shards, which is insane. So you can easily transcend the hero and add a couple of skill levels to your legendary hero instead of awakening or leveling up Mr. Marco or Jack Bronte. So be careful while you put something into their skills or money into their, because you can easily awaken 2 legendary heroes, right? So this is insane, yeah. So Nora also finds herself to be in a shit pot here. We go back to the Universal Heroes. In Universal Heroes, Mr. Victor Blackfoot finds himself to be in A category. The reason is that he can only be used in Garrison. Other than that, he is, I do not know where else he can be used. Like most likely he will be used as a garrison hero, as an assistant to one of your garrison leaders, for example Chasey, then you got Aiton, then you got Stella. So he is going to be an assistant always. So Bianca is one of the heroes that you should not only have, but you should always look to awaken it, because she makes all the heroes that are around her much strong. So this is one of the reasons that you should be looking to awaken, especially if you're deploying 5 squads in the battlefield. So Bianca is a great hero that not only buffs up your heroes, but makes them even more stronger while they're fighting in the field battle. And then she's also fast moving, so she can catch up to rider heroes, she can catch up to sniper heroes or fast moving infantry heroes. So she's one of the heroes that you want to have, and you want to awaken it as well. Mr. Martin is like, the only thing he's good at is hunting zombies. Other than that, I do not find him to be useful at all. Mr. Lee, he is very great, especially because of the debuffs he provides. So you can use him for the beast suppression. He's really good for beast hunting, right? So if you're not using him, then you're making a mistake. His debuffs are actually quite great. Where is Mr. Should be here somewhere. So yeah, the awakened skill is like in area you are reducing the squad's attack, defense, and HP by 30% for 2 seconds. And since he's awakened, so it goes down by 35%, which is quite insane in fact. So this is the reason I place him here, for the beast hunt alone. Master Gen, do not spend or waste money unless you got a shit ton of money. Other than that, he's not useful. These are very good heroes, Maxine and Sarah. You need resources, everybody needs resources, and there are no other better heroes to place or have than these 2 heroes, yeah. So this is the first portion of the video. We are actually done with the tier list of the heroes. Some of you may agree with this, some of you may not, but I would definitely love to hear your thoughts. So this is part 1, which is the tier list, and in the next part that I'm making right after this video, and I will work upon it and release it later on in the day, is the best hero combinations. So what are your thoughts on the tier list that I just made? What difference you would have in the list that I just made? Are any heroes incorrectly placed, or they could have been better placed? I'm sure some of you will not be agreeing with me on Bella, but I do not think she's that much great anymore. These are just my thoughts, and I do not think I will change my thoughts as well, although Bella is one of the only rider heroes that I actually have awakened. But I wish that I have Chasey or Felix awakened present with me. So that is just a wish. Wishes do not always come true. You need like a shooting star crashing down to wish. So unfortunately, no shooting star is crashing down, and that is why no wish can come true for me. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching, guys, and please do leave some comments. What do you think on the tier list that I just made? So yeah, once again, thank you, guys.